Motorcycle theft and related crime is very rarely far from the news cycle these days. And obviously, it's a subject that then leads to a large amount of discussion about policing and how that happens in this country. Is policing effective? Are sentences strong enough? What different powers could police have to actually solve the problem? All these things are discussed at great length, but it's important to get an insider's view, the opinion of somebody who is actually involved in policing, to understand what changes can and could be made. A year ago, I interviewed a MAG member and former police officer, a very senior police officer, Geoff. In the coming weeks, I'm going to be releasing a series of videos of discussions with Geoff about various aspects of policing and how that affects motorcycling here in the UK. Just to give you a taste of Geoff, who he is, what he's all about, please do watch this following video, which was a shortened version of a long interview that I did with him a year ago.
There could be another rant coming on. Is this really the way to run a ballroom? I was going to use a slightly ruder word then. I did 6 years in the Met. I was 2 years as a cadet and I was 4 years as a constable. Then I went on to the Royalty and Diplomatic Protection Group. But I transferred to the Hampshire Constabulary and a detached rural beat officer. Progressed through the ranks in Hampshire. I had tactical firearms, promoted to sergeant, then to inspector. I worked in the force control room. I became head of firearms and public order training. And I finished my last year as the deputy head of the track. I first saw Mag at the very first demonstration in Trafalgar Square. I got a radio message over my radio, and they said there's some sort of kerfuffle going on at Trafalgar Square, would I have a look? And that's when I first met Mag. Very friendly bunch, and I became a member shortly after. The work you are doing, trying to sort of talk to various police forces and focus them on the scourge of motorcycle theft, it really did strike a chord with me. So bikes are much easier to steal. And the police will not prevent those thefts from happening. That's their raison d'etre, but they won't do it because they haven't got the numbers anymore. Their numbers have been going down as population has been going up. They're still probably the same smaller, hardcore criminals. It's actually a small group within the larger population. What stops a person from breaking a law? Number one, the fear of being caught. Number two, the fear of the penalty if one is caught. And those two factors don't seem to be in evidence very much these days. When I was at Fareham, I had an excellent crime office manager, and he said, you know that over 70% of our volume crime, he said, I think that's being committed by possibly no more than 20 or 30 people in an area with a population of about 112,000. He said, it's no good having a target of the month or a target of the week. He said, we can't just dismiss this in a week. We need weeks and weeks to just take out 1 or 2 people. And I need a bigger team to do it. And in 3 months, we took out maybe 4 of the 15 targets that we had. And we were already seeing crime dropping dramatically. We were getting out the message to the rest of their fraternity that we were coming for them. The management and the doctrine of the police, in my opinion, has turned into some sort of 2.5 decades social experiment. You can't deal with hardcore career criminality by waving a lavender-scented handkerchief under their nose. Sometimes we have to remove the mailed fist from the velvet glove and be decisive and be positive. Reasonable force can stretch on a continuum from the lowest level, which is officer presence, i.e. you've turned up and your presence is a show of force, or it used to be. As you get to the top of the scale, you have the use of lethal force. I don't like it. Don't like it. It's political, and I do not like it when politics gets involved in policing, which should be neutral across the board. When it was first introduced, most of my senior colleagues at the time looked at it and thought, why? The plan seemed to be on the back of a fact packet. There was scant information put out about who or what they did. Even I couldn't work out what exactly they were supposed to be doing based on the information that was given out prior to the election. So we had an apathetic electorate voting for something that they didn't understand. Now, is that democracy? I joined the job to be apolitical, and here we have a crime commissioner under a political banner. You would not be able to stand in front of a crowd of the electorate, hand on heart, and say, I'm politically neutral, when you've got a politically elected mayor, politically elected crime commissioner. They might have all the goodwill in the world and be able to prove it, but if the perception of the public is this is politics interfering with policing, then you've got a problem. So no disrespect to anyone who's doing the job of PCSO, but looking at it in the bigger perspective, I would have rather have seen half of the strength of PCSO given way to sworn officers. Special constables aren't paid, but they do have a power of arrest, and this to me is the dichotomy. PCSOs paid, salaried, out they go. They have not gone through the same training regime. They've not filled the gap that was created by the erosion of officers, by the shedding of 20,000 or more roles. A PCSO is a paid person. A special constable isn't, but a special constable has got more police powers than the PCSO. And I'm just saying, please, can we go back and look at this again? Is this really the way to run a ballroom? I don't think it is. Support MAG, ride free, and don't let the legal eagles steamroller us. There's enough laws out there to deal with anything. We don't need more.
So I hope that this forthcoming series of videos will be of interest to you, and please do remember to like and subscribe, and of course hit the notification button to make sure you don't miss any of this content.